I didn't fully get the picture of manifestation. I thought when I was doing all of these things and that's really what kind of woke me up almost, was it just started making sense. I was writing down sentences like over and over. And when I was going about doing my manifestation, I did not know that Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Hello if you are new. Welcome to the Good Vibe Tribe, where I like to talk about everything energy work, psychic work, spiritual lifestyle. Today I just wanted to do like a little sit down. I usually have a series called Conscious Coffee Talks where I talk about just, probably esoteric stuff, mindset stuff that people, may find interesting, may not, to try to help them in their life, to expand their consciousness. But today I really wanted to go over more of like a personal story, or more like a struggle, because I was listening to a podcast and it was from Gabby Bernstein.
My true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe. That's our message for today.
And if you guys don't know who she is, she's an amazing human being. You need to go check her out. She has high vibe content, very, very good charisma. And you can tell that she's very authentic because she speaks her truth, because she's lived through all of the things she's talked about. So go check her out. She's very helpful if you need to pick me up. But on her episode that I listened to, it was, is manifestation real? And this hit home so hard that I have to make a video on that, because I struggled with the same thing. I wish I had that podcast like 5 years ago when I first started out on my spiritual and energy work journey. Okay, so maybe it was more like 3 or 4 now. But point being, she talked about how people are questioning on if manifestation is real. And I wanted to share my story and my experience, so maybe it will help somebody else, or maybe you guys can relate to it as well. Because I think there's a lot of misconception around what manifestation is, and just like a bunch of woo-woo stigma or dogma or whatever you want to call it. And I want to share my journey and what I've learned over the years. So rewind like 4 years ago, when I had a spiritual awakening. I came to the realization that I was this infinite being in a limited body, and that I came to earth to pretty much create. It was my playground, right? So when you think of manifestation, you've got to think of like energy, right? So first things first, let's just knock this one right out. Our life is a manifestation, right? Our life is a manifestation of our thoughts. The pure existence of us is a manifestation of something of a higher power, right? It's the energy. So whatever you want to call it, God, energy, spirit, universe, life force, whatever, we are the physical manifestation of that. So proof that you even exist is proof that manifestation exists. I think that was one of the biggest things that I've learned, honestly. So we'll just knock that one right out of the park. So I think I'm like a lot of people who just wake up from, have a spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it. I was super stoked.
Hey! No, Chris, not yay.
Like, I was excited. And when I found out about manifestation, and that's really what kind of woke me up almost, was it just started making sense. And it shifted my reality, because I saw life in a new perspective, right? So a higher vibration than what I was at. So I was really excited, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Like, I am going to manifest the life of my dreams. Like, I read The Secret. If you guys have ever read that, it's a book about manifestation. So I read that. I read The Compound Effect. I don't think I processed that one correctly, but I was like, all right, I'm a pro at this. I get it. I see what I need to do. Let's go. So I listened to a bunch of Abraham Hicks. Like, I was ready to go. I was motivated AF. So I was all excited. I bought like this, manifestation like planner, and I honestly still buy them today, guys. Gosh, I'm an OG. If you see them, I truly love them. But I bought the planner and I filled out the goals. Like there's like 100 goals or something like that you write down. And so I filled them all out, and then I like scripted out like my ideal life. And in this planner too, it has like this little map that helps you like plan out your manifestation. So I scripted it. I even wrote down sentences. Like once I knew what I wanted out of my goals in my life, I was writing down sentences like over and over and over. And I'm just like, this is more power behind the intention. Like, guys, I spent hours doing this. And not to say that it didn't work, but it doesn't need to be that much. So I was all excited, like I was all for it. I would do little rituals with like, candles and fire and burning and releasing rituals, like anything that you can think of, and affirmations. And it's not to say that none of it worked, because, I was happy. I shifted my reality. I was thinking differently than what I had before, where I was such a limited mindset. But I didn't fully get the picture of manifestation. I thought when I was doing all of these things that the opportunity would present itself very clearly in my reality. Like I would just somehow, some way, like receive a clear path, like gateways opening up, like this way to your manifestation. And what I mean by that now is the universe kind of gifts you breadcrumbs, is what I call it. And it does, and we receive breadcrumbs all the time. But the problem with this is you have to be in the correct state of mind or vibration to take and see the breadcrumbs. And what I mean by this is, when I was going about doing my manifestation, I did not know that I had to change who I was to get the manifestation. So that totally like went straight over my head. And what I mean by this, guys, is it is the law of attraction, and I just kind of missed the mark on my interpretation of the law of attraction. So the universe doesn't gift you anything that you want. It literally gives you what you are. So it's going off of your vibration, meaning your energy. So meaning your thoughts and your habits. And yeah, I totally missed that. And emotion is part of that. Emotion is actually the energy that's going to drive it. So I was like, I started getting really upset, and I actually started to question, was I supposed to receive this stuff? Like, is this really how is this BS or what? You know what I mean? Because when you start looking for it, which that blocks it in itself, because that's sending out the message to the universe that you don't have it. So that was the wrong mindset to begin with. But I did not understand that I had to actually remove, I'm going to term it in a different way in a second, but I actually had to remove energetic blocks, is one way that you could put this, to actually become something of a different vibration so I could receive what I wanted in my life, right? Or you could look at it as I needed to re-remember. I needed to go through the process of re-remembering who I was, meaning that seeing through the illusion that none of these blocks really were even there. So I didn't realize this at the time. That's why I couldn't see my manifestations coming, was because one, I was constantly looking for them everywhere, signaling that I don't have such manifestations. So basically telling the universe that I was not this vibration, so therefore I was not deserving of the desires that I wanted, which you totally are. But it's your mindset that you have to work on, because the universe will constantly be communicating with you and giving you the breadcrumbs that leading you on the path. But if you're not in a place of vibration, if you're not a vibrational match for those breadcrumbs, you're not going to take them, and you're not going to really go anywhere, and therefore you're just going to remain stuck. And that's where I was stuck. because I wasn't taking any action to change anything in my life to get the manifestation, right? It's kind of like this game that you have to play. So the universe will always meet you halfway. It's always going to meet you halfway, but you have to kind of put the intention behind it, meaning taking action. So what I mean by this is I read a great book, and it's called Conversations by God, and it broke down the process of creation. And basically what happens, or it just had a beautiful point of view on it, that your soul basically gifts you this desire, right? It gives you this desire on something that it wants to create, or, you know, a goal or something to go after in this reality. Then you have the power of your intention, which is God's mind, and that is your free will to choose whichever way that you would like to create this thing, or how to get there in your life, pretty much. And then there is the body, which is the physical, which actually helps you take the action. And you need to take the action. That's where a lot of people miss it. So I was sitting there and I had this great idea in my head, and I was doing the work mentally and trying to get my mind right, but I wasn't holding that vibration with like the affirmations, with the scripting, with all of that. I could visualize it perfectly. But my external world was showing me something different, and I wasn't changing as a person. So it brought my vibration down pretty quick. So if you're not in the right vibrational state of being, you're not going to receive what you want. So I had to work on my limiting beliefs. I had to work on the things that were preventing me from getting my manifestation. So I had to work on, you know, my self-worth. I had to work on the confidence in myself, or like finding my voice, or there were certain challenges that I was like working on. And what I ended up having to do was remove certain thoughts that I accepted, you know, true of myself, what made me feel these things, to not take action, that was ultimately preventing me from getting my manifestation. And honestly, it's basically just coming back to a point of love. And Gabby goes over that very, very well in her podcast, is returning to a state of love and joy and bliss. Because when you return to that state, there are no energetic blocks. But it's the re-remembering of who you are. And it's kind of like, oh, I just kind of like made all that stuff up, or accepted it to be true, because your external world tells you these things, especially at a very young age, and you're very impressionable, and so you hold on to it and you basically accept it as part of your identity. So there were a lot of things that I accepted as part of my identity that I had trouble letting go of, and that was what kind of, you know, manifestation may have kicked off my, you know, spiritual journey, and may have made me really excited and, you know, stuff like that. But then it kind of like kicked off shadow work, and I really learned what that was. And, you know, I have learned so much about that even now, of leaning into the fear, into the darkness, rather than like trying to get rid of it, which was not the right way to do either. But it's ultimately coming back to a state of love and bliss, and I totally miss that. The process of becoming and manifesting really is becoming a different person. And I think that's where a lot of people think it's woo-woo or BS, is because they don't really want to do the work. They don't want to change. They don't want to put forth the effort, or they don't really understand what it takes to get what they want. And, you know, shit just doesn't happen out of thin air. It's a process of becoming, and it's the journey. And that's the sole reason why your soul came, was the journey. And then you start to understand as you go along the journey, basically after this manifestation that you want, the vision that you hold for yourself and your life. And it becomes more about not necessarily like the end goal, even though that is really exciting, and it's like, you know, more love and power behind the intention or the manifestation. But you start to realize that as you go along the journey, and I don't really look at it as getting something at the end. We're always going to be manifesting no matter what in life, but it's like, what vibration do I want to become? You know, I almost thought of this as like when I was going over and like thinking of my life purpose. And of course you're going to have all sorts of different purposes in your life. But I really had like an epiphany moment of like, you know, thinking about our soul coming here and basically creating and getting to know itself through the process of action and creation, and, you know, responding to your environment. I think, you know, people can say our soul comes with like a mission, a plan, whatever you want to call it, but I saw it more as like a vibration. There's an end vibration that I really feel like each one of us has, what our soul basically has. It wants to be this level of vibration, this a conglomeration of different experiences and different perspectives. I never really thought about that with manifestation and the actual importance of the journey, because it's not really about getting that thing, it's about becoming the vibrational match for it. And it doesn't necessarily matter what the journey looks like, because I truly feel this in my heart, guys. No matter what, we're gonna get to that end goal, and it doesn't matter how we get there, we're gonna still radiate the same frequency, the vibration we came here to do. So it's just, you know, what do you want your journey to look like? And that's where your free will comes in. And you get to decide. Now you can think it's predestination or destination, whatever. I don't even know what to call it. But it's kind of my take on it. And just to know that there's no right or wrong decision. It's just always going to be a never-ending process of moving forward. You know, whether that takes you one lifetime or 20 to achieve the vibration that you want to. So that is kind of like my take on it. Now Gabby went into like this beautiful, she brought everything back to a place of joy and love, and she's right in that. She's 100% right, because once you come back, you have a re-remembering of who you are, and when you start working through your blocks or re-remembering, you'll already realize that wanting to manifest, you already are this thing. I know this is probably like a what's the word I'm looking for? Contradiction. Once you come back to that re-remembering, it's almost like this, even though you don't see it in the physical, because this is where a lot of people don't believe in it, because their physical, the external world is going to show them something different. And it's really, really hard at first. Trust me, guys. I've been through it. It's really, really hard at first when your external world is showing you something different than what you feel on the inside. But it's that inside that you have to stay connected with. It's that faith. It's that unbreakable love. And when you re-remember who you are, you have so much faith in your manifestation or in your desires or in your purpose that you just know, like, it's already happened. You're just basically waiting to take the journey, or you're just basically on the journey of becoming it, and that's the most important part. So when you come back to a place of love and surrender and gratitude, and you surrendering to a higher power, a purpose than that of your own, and understanding that this desire, like, it was gifted to you, and you're meant to channel it here, but it's just, you know, surrendering to what it looks like, when it's going to happen, because it's not on your time, it's the universe's time. And sometimes it might not always come to complete fruition of how we think it should. And in my opinion and experience, it's always ended up better. So it's trusting and just kind of letting go and enjoying the ride, you know. The journey you're basically experiencing, and from what I have experienced through this journey is my experiences have basically led me to help others, and the challenges that I've overcome have led me to help others very, very well. I can speak my truth honestly and effectively, and honestly be a clear channel for it to come, for source to come straight through and help somebody. This is where I feel like your pain is your power. It's going to give you the life of your dreams if you just keep pushing through it. And honestly, I really feel like you choose these manifestations almost like the furthest thing from your natural state of being, or I don't want to say natural state of being because that's love, but almost the furthest thing from your ego, because source wants to evolve, it wants to transmute that energy, it wants to heal. So it's going to pick things that will challenge it to do so. And how beautiful is that? So, but yeah, I'm a little all over the place, guys. I didn't script this. I really just love impromptu videos. Just sometimes, like, it's my thoughts just go everywhere, and I feel like I miss so many key points. But I wanted to share my experience and my struggles and my new perspective on what I have, because yes, I can totally see where manifestation can feel like bullshit and it can be so frustrating. But honestly, it's taught me a lot. And just not about energy, but just life in general, like what it truly is. And no, shit's just not gonna happen out of thin air. You know, maybe if you get lucky a few times, you know, you see the breadcrumbs, or like I said, the universe meets you halfway and it sees that you're taking steps, and then maybe you get thrown a bone or something like that, maybe win the lottery, I don't know. But just kidding, guys. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. Check out Gabby's stuff. She could go more into like the light and love, and it puts a very high vibe. I don't know what the right word is for her content. It's very, very high vibe, but she has more of a a more personal feel on it. She does a very good job of connecting herself to the higher realms, but being able to ground it down to relate it more to a human existence, so where people can understand it and basically transform that energy within them. Very, very good job. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully demystified some stuff, and you know, keep manifesting. So do the scripting, do all that shit, like it totally helps, but you gotta do the inner work. So, sending you all my light and all my love. I'll see ya.